What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to commence some basement renos, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so welcome for the ride. I have a little bit of an idea, but basically I am at the point where I've gotten my floor plans approved by the city, so I'm good to go with that. Basically I used the Planner 5D app literally on my phone and just like went around to each corner with my phone, and it like set a point and took measurements from my phone, and then I pieced together like a little mock-up floor plan, and it gave me like 3D versions of it and shit, and it was pretty sweet. So just on my phone, did the trial version, did it in like an hour, and then deleted the trial version after I exported the plans. So did that to start, and then I needed more detail when I actually put in the application. So I used Adobe Illustrator to do up my final plan, and now we're here. So what I need to start with is basically taking the layer of latex paint off the floor, because there's a lot of low spots, and I need to use some like self-leveler stuff on that. And to use that, you're supposed to use like a special primer first for the stuff that you're using. I'm going to use the Sika brand stuff. And so we need to take the layer of paint off the floor. Then we'll put some framing and stuff up. Then we'll self-level, and we'll go from there. I don't know how far we'll get in this video, but I figured I'd just start documenting. So I don't know how so much shit accumulates, but here we are. Never would have thought I would have so much stuff, but this was kind of like a little like mock-up movie area with the couch and TV and stuff down here before. I moved everything that we had on this side, just compile it over there for now so that I can at least do half the floor in here, and kind of frame up the wall that's going to go here for a bedroom, and kind of do all that stuff, and we'll do like half the basement at a time. So what I'm going to do right now to try and help mitigate dust and stuff, because I'm going to be grinding the floor, is I'm going to just throw up some poly sheet here across to like block off that side of the basement, and hopefully it kind of just helps the dust a little bit, especially since my PC and everything's there. And then we're going to start seeing how well this thing goes. Rented this from Home Depot. Have it for the day. It's just a floor sander with like a diamond cutting blade. It's actually meant for like grinding concrete, like when you actually do like epoxy floors in your garage or something like that, to take all the imperfections and like smooth out the concrete and prep it for stuff like that. But I've seen some videos where people also use it to take off coatings and things like that from concrete floors. So we're gonna try it out. Hopefully it works. This kind of paint stuff is a little bit like chippy already, so I'm hoping that it all just kind of chips up and comes off easy, but we know how that goes. So we're gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna throw up some poly sheet and get to it. puppy up. Alright, so if you've been with the channel a while, you might remember all my fiberglass work that I was doing on the Acura. And I never wore masks, so I'm actually gonna be smart this time and just throw on a bit of a dust mask. We are oh. Well, that's shit. Never mind. God, I hate masks. Now it's fogging up my glasses. We ready. Good news is, it's gonna work. Bad news is, a lot of dust. A lot. I think this is honestly probably plenty. I could go more, but it's just, once you get to kind of like this level, the amount of dust that starts getting created is insane because you're straight on the concrete. So, also note to self, apparently you can set off your fire alarm with dust. There ended up being still so much dust like down in the basement here, and yeah, literally set off the fire alarm with dust. So, good to know. I didn't know you could do that. Let's take this thing back, and then we'll probably continue tomorrow with some more stuff on this. Alright guys, so a few things need to happen. I had a inspector from the city come take a look and basically just answer some of my questions and do like a pre-inspection to let me know what I need to do to get things up to code, because I mean, clearly I'm not, I don't know, I'm just doing this all myself. The main thing though that I looked up that I wanted him to answer for me is the fact that currently these walls have this layer of poly on the front, and then it's insulated, and then there's another layer of poly between the insulation and the concrete. In today's code, you would have like a rigid foam board against the concrete, and then you'd have your insulation, and then you'd only have poly on the inside. But the way it is right now, with the dual vapor barrier, essentially, it can lead to actually holding moisture in the walls. So he said what I should do is just like, I don't have to tear down the walls, even though like they're not to code, but since they were built already, he won't make me redo that. But I'll pull the insulation out because I'm going to replace it anyways, which I'll get to. But I'll pull the insulation out, and then I'll basically just get in behind the wall, and I'll just take a knife and cut out the poly that's against the concrete, and then at least it can breathe to one side, is what he said I should be doing. So I'll do that, and then I'm going to replace all of the insulation, because once that's done, I also am still worried about moisture. Like, clearly then your insulation is just right open to the concrete, without fully pulling the walls down and putting foam board up. So I'm going to replace all the insulation with Rockwool R14 insulation, and then that stuff is more like mold resistant and moisture resistant and all that stuff, and should be fine. So we're gonna do that. The other thing that needs to happen is this window needs to be bigger, because when it's open, the minimum dimension this can be from up here to the opening is 15 inches as per code, and right now it's only about 14. So I either need to put in a window in there that can swing horizontally, because there's just enough room. You could still fit and have about like a 16-inch clearance, but the way this one opens, it takes up about 1.5 inches of that space anyways and brings us below code. So I either need to do that, or we need to frame in entirely new larger window. So that's fun. But what I'm going to do right now in the meantime, I'm going to just frame in like the gas lines and the ventilation and all that stuff down here. So I'm going to do up some framing to box this in, and we'll go from there. So I threw up a laser level over here, and as you can see, I've got it lined up right with the bottom of my LVL beam over here, so that when I measure off the joists, I can see exactly how deep my framing needs to be. Alright, so we got all the main structure up, all this stuff framed in. All the electrical is going to be redone, so I just made sure to leave a gap here so that it's easy to route new cable in and down nicely, and then through the bedroom, because this spot will be bedroom. So yeah, so this is all framed up nice. I have got just the last couple pieces for each end pre-framed and just ready to slap in here after the new insulation and stuff goes in. So yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow.